Hello Internet, welcome! Today I'm gonna show you some of the most iconic and influential places to visit in Hong Kong on a budget for a day trip. It would also be a great travel plan if you have more than 12 hours of layover to kill. Now let us begin. I'm actually visiting my hometown Zhuhai in mainland China for this trip, and since I'll be landing in Hong Kong, so might as well make a trip out of it. I haven't been back home for almost 6 years now, and words can't express how excited I am to finally be able to reunite with my family. It actually rained quite heavily on the day we left. We took a bus to get to the Raleigh and Durham International Airport in North Carolina, and we'll be flying Air Canada. And since we got the economic tickets, we had 2 connecting stops, first in Toronto and then Vancouver, totaling 36 hours of travel time. It's only a long flight battle ahead of us. We had over 12 hours of layover in Vancouver. Unfortunately, we landed late at night. Otherwise, we would have had more time to hang out in Vancouver. We had a rough overnight stay at the Vancouver airport, and now it's finally the time to board the last flight. And it seemed like this flight would be fully packed. Air Canada only fed us 2 meals and a small snack over a 14-hour flight. Guess that's what you get for cheap flights, huh? This was the first meal, and I got teriyaki chicken with rice. The second meal, I got Singapore curry chicken noodle. Honestly, I think it's a great idea to pack some snacks with you because you'll be starved. We arrived at Hong Kong Airport at around 6 p.m. local time, which was pretty on time according to their itinerary. I felt so great to be able to walk again right now because my legs were so numb for the entire flight, and my hair was so greasy after almost 2 days without a shower. We then followed the crowd to get to the Hong Kong customs, another super long line to go through. And by the way, we already filled out the Hong Kong arrival card on the plane as non-Hong Kong residents to speed up the process. And finally made it out to the baggage claim area. And by the way, the Hong Kong Tourism Board is giving out 100 HKD vouchers per visitor. But we didn't end up using them because they made it so hard to find a place that actually accepted the coupons. And you can get SIM card, Octopus card, and exchange for some cash all together at the airport, and I've linked a few articles below if you need them. I would highly recommend everyone to get an Octopus card and some cash, because regardless how internationalized Hong Kong is, there are still a bunch of places that don't accept credit cards. And I've learned this the very hard way by not having either of them, and ran into huge inconveniences of not being able to pay and ride the subways. We followed the signs to get to the bus station and took the bus to our hotel. The airport has very clear signs everywhere, so it's very easy to find it. It's in late November during our visit, and Hong Kong was still very hot and humid. And just right when we got outside, I could instantly feel the dampness all over my face. We took bus A11 to go to our hotel, Best Western, which is in Wan Chai, Causeway Bay area. The bus ride took about an hour. And this was our hotel, Best Western. The whole front area was very empty, which looked kind of weird. And the reception desk is actually on the 3rd floor, and you had to wiggle around to find the elevator to go up. This room cost about $60 a night, and I would say it's actually a pretty good price comparing to other hotels in Hong Kong. You know, living in Hong Kong is very expensive. Our room was on the 27th floor, so it has a very good city view. The room was not very spacious, as you could probably tell, but it's good enough for a one-night stay. And the bed was just two small mattresses lined up together. I would say it's probably a full-size bed in US standard. Anyways, the bed and the bathroom were pretty clean, and the area was pretty quiet at night too. I think this place met my basic requirements for a budget hotel. Best Western is located in a very convenient area, with a bunch of restaurants, convenience stores, and bus stops nearby. We had dim sum at this place called Meat Point, which was about 5 to 6 minutes walk from the hotel. And they had discounts on weekdays if you come during certain time in a day. We got some beef balls, custard black buns, fish balls, shrimp tempura, and some other steamed goods. And this is their advertised custard black buns. You know what? I don't even know what it's actually called. But anyways, the custard is very hot and runny. Any sorts of meatballs are always my go-to picks. Normally, you won't go wrong with it. So we got beef balls and fish balls today. This one is called Fan Go. It's a kind of steamed dish, and this one is wrapped with the translucent glutinous rice flour wrapper stuffed with Chinese chive and tofu. Usually the stuffing will vary depending on the region. And this is shrimp tempura. It's not a common dish you'll find at a dim sum place. And this whole meal costs about $20. So the plan for the rest of the day is to first get the ferry tickets to go back to my hometown tonight. And since the ticket station is pretty close to the Star Ferry station, so we'll walk there and ride the ferry across the harbor to check out the Ave of Star. I would also love to visit the Hong Kong Botanical Garden and ride the Peak Tram in the afternoon, but it really The ride was very short. It only took about 3 minutes to go across the harbor. We followed the crowd to exit the station and walk towards our next spot, the Ave of Star. Walking down from here, you'll reach the Ave of Star. The Ave of Star is surrounded by the city's breathtaking skyline, and the view here is just amazing. There are handprints of movie stars on the ground, cool statues, and you can see the whole city. I'm pretty sure we came in a slow season, but this place was still pretty crowded. I guess when it is not. At the time of visit, which was just after Thanksgiving, there was a little bit of construction going on in this area, and people were trying to put up the Christmas decoration, like this huge deal layer cake. After the Ave of Star, we rode the ferry back, and I just spotted this observation Ferris wheel, and we decided to give it a try. It cost 40 Hong Kong dollars for the both of us. It was about noon now, and as you can see, there's a huge line here too. So the whole experience is gonna take about 15 minutes, about 3 rounds. There are 2 types of cabins. One is the economic, which is what we'll be riding, and we'll share the space with 8 people. And the other one is the VIP cabin, where you'll have it all to yourself, and that costs way too much. I felt quite scared in the beginning because I was scared of the height, but I slowly adjusted myself later on. I really enjoyed this breathtaking view. You can overlook the whole Victoria Harbour up here. Hong Kong is such an amazing place. We're about to be back to the ground now. 15 minutes went by really fast. There's an entertainment park just right next to the Ferris wheel. It's a great place for just any age. We rested here for a bit and started to move towards our next spot. We used the Google map for navigation the whole time, and for the most part it was accurate, but not when we needed to find a bus to get to the Hong Kong Botanical Garden. We eventually just chose to walk there. But before we found the garden, we actually ran into the peak tram first, so we decided to ride the tram first in case we didn't have enough time later. The round-trip ticket for one person cost 88 Hong Kong dollars. This is such an influency activity where everyone is trying to take pictures of the tram coming back down. People rushed in all at once when the door opened. It's really hard to find a good seat to take videos without pushing a bunch of people out of your way. Well, I didn't get a very good seat. But anyways. The whole ride was very scenic, where you'll pass forests, roads, residential or maybe office buildings. I would say that the tram ride was even more scary than the Ferris wheel because some section of the ride had an at least 45 degrees incline. After we got off the tram, we entered the peak tram market. Many merchants sell souvenirs, gifts, traditional clothing, and a bunch of other stuff that you couldn't imagine. This is a whole standalone 7th floor building by itself. The whole place was decorated with Christmas decorations, and there is an outdoor viewpoint on each floor to get an overlook of the grand city view. The entrance for the tram to go back down was quite difficult to find, and I won't attempt to explain it here. just as a staff member. This is pretty much everything to our one-day budget trip in Hong Kong. We probably spent roughly $140 to $150 for 2 people for the entire one-day stay in Hong Kong, and that included hotel, transportation, food, and entertainment. We made some mistakes of not getting the octopus card and cash, took a bunch of wrong turns and detours, but I'm still pretty satisfied with everything we got to experience here. Hong Kong, you're beautiful. We'll take a better look at you next time.